Peace, family. This is Ahmad Wazir. Hope everybody's well. Doing good. Just coming off a much needed run. I'm on vacation. Just coming back from my hometown, Richmond, where we were blessed to crash the family reunion. I didn't think I was going to get to go, but took 3 of my children and we went to the family reunion and got to spend some time with family. Then to see my sister and brother-in-law, crash my brother's podcast, did some reminiscing, took the children to where I grew up at, the neighborhood I was from, and just got to see, and it was kind of touching, man. I didn't realize how great of an upbringing that I had in regards to quality of life. Like, we grew up in a very nice neighborhood, and it was a different time. Like, they got to see where I got to travel all around there. In those days, and in that area, my parents didn't worry about, us being killed. I can't say what they didn't worry about, but it was really, really safe. Working class neighborhood. It wasn't the suburbs, you know what I'm saying, but working class neighborhood, and good people I grew up with. And so it was kind of nice just to kind of reminisce and see, where I came from. It was a little took them to Carytown, which is the business or retail district, not too far from where I grew up, and took them to get some pizza from one of my favorite pizza places. I'm not the sentimental type, man, but I was just really, really like on some sentimental stuff. So this was a very good trip for me. Like I said, spending time, saw my mother-in-law and my 2 mother-in-laws, because my wife and her mother and her stepmother, and of course got to see my brother Jamil, and got to see my biological brothers and my nephew and cousins, and it was just beautiful. So anyway, and then the biggest surprise was I surprised my children by taking them to the Virginia beach, and they just enjoyed it, being in the water and just seeing the look on their face. But I just kind of wanted to talk about advice and how advice can mess you up. And now I'll preface this with the friends that I have that I'm really close with, where we have the license to be completely honest with one another. And a good friend of mine, we're having a conversation, and he was very, very critical of the tone of some of the videos that I made. And one of the observations that I make about myself is I can be a bit cynical. And after the conversation, it kind of rocked me a little bit, right? Like, damn, it kind of shook my confidence with making these videos. The videos is something about the way I deliver my message that really turns him off to my videos and stuff. And again, I appreciate his honest observation. And I had a conversation with my oldest daughter, unrelated, but she was talking to me about me making my videos and making the videos the way that I want to make them. And I brought up the fact that her conversation totally contrasts with the advice, not advice, but just the criticism that I received from it. And she was just kind of like, well, listen, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Don't let that look at that person differently, nor let that deter you from what you're doing. You know, like, you just know there's a weak spot within you. when it comes to it, but just do what you do. And so when I got to Richmond, I went to my brother's barbershop, and there was a guy there, a friend of his. When the first thing I walked in, he said, "Man, we were just talking about you. And man, your brother showed me one of your videos. And oh my God, man." And he just went and was just saying how the video helped him and how he trying to apply some of the things that I said. And he was quoting some of the videos. And first thing, I didn't even know my brother watched my videos. So that was touching. And then it's kind of like, it's hard for me to receive compliments and praise like that, I appreciated it, but it was just like, man, okay, I just, you don't know what impact you're going to have on people. And that's the balance of the universe, right? So I can't accept one without the other. And I got this from Chris Rock. You can't accept the critique of your critics and you can't accept the praise of the people who love what you're doing and reject the critique of your critics. He said, if you take one, you got to take both of them. So he kind of said, be kind of neutral. Listen, but kind of move the way you need to move. And so there was a lot of lessons in that, because I was rocked by being criticized by someone whose opinion meant a lot to me. And again, they weren't trying to be disrespectful. They were just being honest in how that made them feel. And I have to remember, when I used to do this network marketing thing, they would always say, remember your why. And because you're going to come across different things. You're going to come across things that will shake your confidence. You're going to come across things that, make you want to quit. And so that was just a good lesson on me on advice and just people's criticism and praise too, because both of these points were valid. The person who was praising it and loved it, his feeling was just as valid as the friend who was turned off by the cynical nature of my messages. But I have to remember why I do this, and I do this to share myself, to open up and not just sit on some of the things that I've been blessed to learn, not just to sit on my experiences, but to share them and put them out there. And if it affects one person in a positive way, or if it makes somebody think and reconsider or inspire somebody to do something, then that's what it is. It's a short message. So I appreciate all those perspectives, and especially my daughter, because she talked to me before I even ran into the person who was praising me. And she was telling me, just do you. She said, resist falling into the trap of feeling like you got to do it a certain way because other people are doing it a certain way. And that meant a lot to me as well. All three perspectives. One is not more valuable than the others. And my friend who gave me the critique was talking about the law of three. So that's that. It's ironic, man, that law of three, that it made him feel one way. It made the brother in Richmond feel another way. And then my daughter right in the middle, that unifying force of both points of, Dad, do you? And so that was beautiful, man. And just overall, the trip was beautiful. And I just got to chart my growth. And it was very humbling to be around my family, because I've come down here and I've been blessed to really improve the quality of my life and the life of my family. But I didn't get here by myself. You know, people paid a price. My dad, the neighborhood that I grew up in, my mom and dad sacrificed to give us a great quality of life. And I always tell my children, I said, be thankful of the situation that you're born into, because none of us have any control over where we're born, the situation that we're born in. So to be able to enjoy a decent quality of life, you know, that's an act of divine benevolence from an almighty God or creator. And so it was just very, very humbling. And I saw my cousin, who I haven't seen in years, who, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got into Islam. You know, he brought Islam to the family. And, you know, that person has moved on. He's living his own life, and we don't talk much. But I showed my children, I said, if it wasn't for him and some of the music that I listened to, you know, it's none of us are on an island. Like, none of us get to where we are without the help of other people. And sometimes we don't even know what those people are doing. You know, before I even thought anything of myself, it was people who believed in me, who fed me and taught me and gave me things. You know, my oldest brother's a barber. He cut my hair. I couldn't afford haircuts for years, you know, and he would always cut my hair and wouldn't let me pay him. That act of kindness, you know, my oldest sister, who basically, you know, helped to take care of me. You know, I'm the baby brother. I'm 10 years younger than her, and she would, you know, step up and, you know, help my mom out with me, being the baby and taking care of me and giving me baths and, you know, my brother, who's 4 years older than me being an intellectual, withdrawn guy, I didn't, you know, people like to bully people like me, but because my brothers had a reputation of, you know, whipping people's ass, and that wasn't me. I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't that guy, but I was protected based on their reputation. You know, my nephew, you know, who was like a little brother to me. We grew up, and I always had somebody to hang out with, and just taking it for granted, man. Just playing wrestling and going to the basketball court at 17 degrees. We played basketball every day growing up, you know, no matter how cold it was. If we played in the rain, it didn't matter. But these things that I have forgotten, you know, and then coming back there, it was very humbling. And my children saw me when I was in this phase of reminiscing, to where I was kind of getting choked up, and being back in that neighborhood, man, just like seeing how beautiful it was, you know, and just being thankful and realizing that it's an act of divine grace that I am where I am, and even up to this point, and you know, to be able to raise our children and give them some of the things, to be able to take them to the beach. One time I couldn't afford to do that. That was a great feeling. You know, one time I was so insecure that I had to put a wall around everybody, because I knew deep down in my heart I wasn't handling my business as a man with a young family. So I had this wall up around the family, and I isolated myself in the family to protect my little frail ego. But again, going back to advice, sometimes advice to an insecure person can be very damaging, you know. So I had to get strong enough to stand like I stand now. And I saw family members that we're not, you know, as close as we once were, but it's still love, and it's okay. Like, we don't have to be close like we were. It's still love there, and that's what's the most important thing. So, the last thing I'm gonna say is I'm on vacation, and I used to pride myself on not taking vacations. I used to say that, like, I don't take no vacations. Man, fuck that going forward. You know what I'm saying? Well, one thing changes, I'm salary now, so I don't have to chase the dollar per hour like I used to. So that was a blessing in disguise with going on salary, because if I was still hourly, I'd probably be still talking that crazy shit. You know, pride myself, man, I don't take vacation. So my vacation week would come and I would work. Well, I'll take a couple of days here and there, but I didn't take a real vacation. But I took a real vacation. Let me tell you something. Fuck that stuff that I was on at first. I'm taking my damn vacations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed to relax and unwind. Life is stressful as hell. And just to go to the beach and just sit there and put my feet in the water and watch the children go out there and play in the waves and stuff. And like I said, just to be able to afford to do that stuff now. You know, seeing my children and them enjoying meeting their family, and, you know, and seeing, they talked about how me and my sister talk alike, you know. You know, it was just beautiful, man. It was a great weekend. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. I love y'all all. Take care of yourselves. Peace.